I'm Abby with Motor City Nerds, and I just want to make a really quick video talking about the female Targaryens and their history a little bit, because I know that the actress in the prequel has come out saying things about they had things changed because she wasn't okay with how things went. But anyway, we're going to talk about it. Now, I'm not totally disagreeing with what the actress said. I just don't 100% agree with what this article was saying and about whatever, essentially that they glorified violence and rape against women, and I don't feel that way. I feel like these things really do happen. I feel like, especially in history, fucked up shit happened to women, so it's like, it's kind of a part of it, and I never really felt like, pardon me, I never really felt like they glorified it. But, I mean, if you are into someone abusing somebody, and I mean, I'm not here to kink shame nobody on nothing. I'm just saying, like, we don't like Ramsay Bolton as a character because he's hurting Sansa the way he does. You're not supposed to feel comfortable watching scenes like that. But I'm not here to talk about everything this woman said. I'm not here to tear it apart or disagree or anything like that. I'm just saying the actress who's in the prequel for the Targaryen history came out with some statements. And, yeah, so I want to talk about the Targaryen women in history a little bit. Because the kicker with the Targaryen women is that, one, there would be no Targaryen family without one, which is Daenerys the Dreamer, who I talked about in my previous House of the Dragon video. She is the one who told them that Valyria was going to burn to the ground, so we better dip out. So, without her, no Targaryen family. Then we get to Rhaenys and Visenya. Now, not only did Rhaenys and Visenya conquer the Seven Kingdoms with Aegon essentially was the guy. He had a dick, so he was more important, and he had to just go around the Seven Kingdoms and make sure everybody saw him, and he was so great, and he's the great king, and blah, blah, blah. But guess who was back making laws and running shit and taking care of business, like literal business, and building cities and being the hand of the king, essentially, besides my man Oris Baratheon. But, like, who was sitting on the throne when Aegon wasn't there? Aegon the Conqueror. Was his sisters Visenya and Rhaenys, who did come up with a lot of laws. And they were badasses. Like I've stated before, Visenya is my favorite. She's the one who came up with the Kingsguard, because she was like, you're not protected enough, and gets by all his guards and cuts Aegon, her brother, and is like, see, I got past him. I know I'm a badass, but you need some better guards. We need to make the Kingsguard. Like, but they were running shit. I mean, then we do have the Black Brides and everything, which is a bunch of messed up stuff that apparently everybody keeps saying they're not going to do, so that they're not even going to do Aegon the Conqueror, so whatever. Also, a lot more of them, I feel like, have stronger bonds with their dragons, and just so everybody knows, Vhagar. On my phone, Vhagar's my favorite dragon. That's Visenya's dragon. Outlived Balerion the Dread, which is the one everybody talks about, which was Aegon's dragon, and it was so big, and it forged the Iron Throne. Vhagar grew to be bigger, because Vhagar lived the longest. Meraxes went down like a chump. But I'm just saying, they seem to have a stronger connection with their dragons. Almost like Daenerys. Now, they all don't, Daenerys is a totally different way of getting her dragons, but it seems that in history, the Targaryen women have had stronger bonds with their dragons, or it's been easier for them to become dragon riders. And then we have people like, we have good Queen Alysanne, who was, she's the one who gave the Night's Watch the gift, which is like all of the land. They offer it to the wildlings. They offer it to the wildlings to farm on because it's good land. But that's what they're talking about. That's the gift, and that's for the Night's Watch to have livestock and crops and everything like that. And good Queen Alysanne is the one who did all that. That's why one of the spots on the wall is called Queen's Gate, and it's for her, because I think her and her husband, good King Jaehaerys, good King Jaehaerys and good Queen Alysanne, they were the last royal, besides, they were the last king and queen to ever go to the wall, I'm pretty sure. And yeah, they hooked the Night's Watch up. She knew how important it was. She comes into one of my theories about she knew how important the wall would be, and against the dead, and yada yada yada. But anyway, yeah. So good Queen Allison was the shit. She was awesome. She made a bunch of laws. She stopped a bunch of sexist things from happening, like she tried to, for let's sake of this not being a fantasy world, but in a time period like that, she came up with a lot of stuff of like, hey, maybe you shouldn't be allowed to bang her before her husband, and just because you're important, like, that's not cool, dude. This is what I meant when I was half joking but actually serious when I was talking about Visenya getting fucked over and looked over because she was a woman, and how this continues to happen to Targaryens, and that's why they would, it's a big theme throughout it. But the kicker is, throughout their history, women have kind of been the ones keeping it together, and men have kind of been the ones tearing it apart. And I mean, and then we can totally get into the Dance of Dragons. I totally understand that. I'm not saying they're perfect whatsoever. I'm just saying there are very interesting aspects and things that make them very real, and they do go through some shit throughout their whole history, and I think it's very interesting. And then we get to Viserys Targaryen, not Dany's brother, not the asshole who Khal Drogo kills. He marries a Hightower. Fuck the Hightowers. Sneaky bastards. She was a sneak. Sneak McSneak. And he wanted his daughter Rhaenyra to inherit. His wife, who is not her mom, so her stepmom, don't want that shit. She wants one of her kids to fucking inherit the Iron Throne. Well, after he dies, Rhaenyra ain't having it, and that's when we get to the Dance of Dragons, which the show will mostly be about, people are saying. And once again, it's Rhaenyra, who was the rightful ruler, who was chosen by her father, who was groomed to command, who was chosen for gets screwed again. And then there's a huge war over it, and it's a big, huge deal, and it's super badass. And once again, guess who's there? Vhagar. Vhagar the dragon's still there, beating ass, taking names, and I'm pretty sure they need like 3 dragons to square up with it. Her, not it, because it's a she-dragon. Yeah, I just saw that the actress came out with some... She came out with some statements about not glorifying violence and assault against women, and I agree with that, but I also have my own feeling about, like, I don't know. And like I said, it was more of the article and how they said it than it was what she said. And because what she says I agree with. You shouldn't make it, glorify it, but that's also something that does happen to a lot of different things happen to these characters, and it makes them who they are. It makes them build themselves up as a person and a character in a show, and it's well done. They're badass. They're fucking badass, and there's a ton of them, and there's way more than the ones I said. I just really wanted to say something really quick about the Targaryen women in history and how really they kind of held that shit down and made Westeros the country, like, as one. Oh, and I cannot wait to talk about Robert's fucking rebellion, because that is my shit. The Baratheons all day, every day, on the block by myself. Robert all day. I fucking love him. I do. But yeah, I'm happy with Motor City Nerds. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. It helps me a lot. And I'm just having fun doing this, and I really want to go into more detail about Game of Thrones stuff if you can't tell. I got tons of theories. I got tons of whatever. But yeah, please leave a comment, anything, and stay safe, and have a good one.